Whitney Houston's National Anthem at the 1991 Super Bowl is hailed as one of the most powerful performances ever. With a voice that soared effortlessly, she held millions spellbound. But what if this whole performance wasn't even live? Some claim it was a pre-recorded track, while others insist she performed entirely live. How did these rumors start, and why have they persisted for so many years after the performance? In this video, we're diving into this controversy to reveal the truth behind what happened that night. We'll uncover the surprising decisions made before she ever stepped on the field, the risks her team weighed, and why the story behind this performance might change how you view one of music's most iconic moments. The moment before Whitney Houston took the stage to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl was charged with emotion and anticipation. As the New York Giants and Buffalo Bills prepared to face off, the stakes were higher than any typical football game. In the midst of the Gulf War, millions of Americans tuned in, carrying a mix of pride, fear, and hope. It was under these extraordinary circumstances that Whitney Houston, one of the country's most beloved voices, was set to sing. Dressed in a white tracksuit by Le Coq Sportif with matching Nike Cortez sneakers, she presented herself as a vocal athlete, prepared to tackle the immense weight of the performance before her. In interviews, she would later reflect on the intensity of the atmosphere, saying she felt deeply connected to the emotions that permeated the stadium that day and intended to infuse the sense of hope that millions of Americans watching from their homes so needed to feel. In January 1991, America was gripped by the Gulf War. Just 10 days before Super Bowl 25, Operation Desert Storm began with a powerful display of military force in the Middle East. News coverage framed the event as a clear-cut mission, which fueled a national optimism that this would be a decisive and victorious war. In times of national hardship, events that would otherwise serve as routine entertainment often become powerful symbols of unity and resilience. Whitney Houston's rendition of the national anthem at the 1991 Super Bowl was one such moment. It transformed the opening of a football game into a unifying experience that resonated deeply across the country and beyond. This moment marked a significant evolution in how the national anthem was performed at major sporting events, and it was part of a larger shift toward more impactful, artist-driven performances at the Super Bowl. In the early years of the Super Bowl, starting with Super Bowl I in 1967, the national anthem was often performed in a straightforward manner. The performances typically featured marching bands or local choirs, rather than well-known artists, and lacked the emotional depth and star power that would characterize later renditions. The national anthem was often treated as a formality, rather than a moment of artistic expression. As a result, these renditions did not resonate deeply with audiences or create memorable moments. As the 1980s progressed, there was a gradual shift toward incorporating more popular music artists into national anthem performances at major sporting events, like Diana Ross in 1982 and Billy Joel in 1989. By the early 1990s, the Super Bowl had become one of the most significant cultural events in the United States, drawing millions of viewers each year. The national anthem performance evolved into a high-profile opportunity for artists to capture the nation's mood and spirit. Producers and NFL executives began to seek out performers who could elevate the anthem beyond its traditional role and transform it into a powerful artistic statement. The decision to pick Whitney Houston to perform the Star-Spangled Banner in 1991 was mainly influenced by producers and NFL executives who sought to elevate the quality of the national anthem presentation. Ricky Minor, who was responsible for producing the anthem, played a crucial role in advocating for her selection and for an original arrangement of the song that would showcase her vocal talents. Despite initial pushback from NFL executives regarding the arrangement, he insisted on allowing Whitney Houston to perform it in a way that highlighted her artistry. Ricky Minor's insistence on creative freedom set the stage for an unforgettable performance that went far beyond what had been done before at the Super Bowl. From the very first notes, her tone was rich and resonant, showcasing her unmatched vocal control and range. She opened with a subtle, almost delicate restraint, which created a sense of anticipation and allowed the performance to build naturally. As the song progressed, she gradually increased her vocal intensity, hitting each note with precision while infusing it with a deeply felt emotion. Her vocal choices also brought out new emotional nuances within the anthem itself, with her timing and phrasing seeming to give each word its own weight and importance. The moment she reached the climactic Land of the Free, her voice soared, capturing the collective hope, pride, and resilience of the American people. For many viewers, this performance transcended the standard patriotic tribute. It became an anthem of hope and unity, a reminder of the nation's strength and spirit during challenging times. Whitney Houston's performance of the Star-Spangled Banner at Super Bowl 25 is often hailed as the gold standard when it comes to national anthem renditions. Many considered it one of the best performances of the anthem in history, leading to requests for copies and a subsequent release by Arista Records. But just days after the Super Bowl, reports began to surface, questioning the authenticity of Whitney Houston's performance. On January 30th, 1991, media outlets started discussing allegations that she had lip-synced during the event. As her team hesitated to make any public statement and the questions surrounding her Super Bowl performance persisted, she was left with an unexpected challenge. But since she was eager to honor the troops and reclaim her narrative, she soon found the perfect stage to respond. Her Welcome Home Heroes concert. It was held at the Naval Air Station in Norfolk, Virginia, and was designed to honor U.S. troops returning from the Gulf War. With the concert broadcast live on HBO, it reached millions of Americans, highlighting the gratitude and respect the nation felt for the soldiers and their families in the wake of Operation Desert Storm. For Whitney Houston, this concert was a chance to show appreciation for those who had served while creating a sense of unity through her music. But her performance here also served another purpose. It was an opportunity to address the lingering rumors surrounding her Super Bowl rendition of the National Anthem by performing it live a cappella.
You know, there was controversy about Whitney doing the National Anthem and lip-syncing. You know, was she lip-syncing? And you know, a lot of backlash right away. I said, what we need to do, we have this show on HBO, Welcome Home Heroes. It shut it down. You know, it just shut down all the talk.
Singing live at such a high-profile event offered Houston a moment to put these doubts to rest and reaffirm the authenticity of her artistry. But this live performance did little to address what actually happened during her Super Bowl performance and left questions unanswered. There are two prevailing narratives about Whitney Houston's performance of the national anthem at the Super Bowl. One version claims she sang entirely live, while the other argues she simply lip-synced the entire piece. But neither version tells the full story. The truth comes from Ricky Minor, Whitney Houston's musical director and the audio engineer during that performance. After Whitney Houston's passing, he revealed that what the audience and viewers heard was a pre-recorded version of her vocals. The NFL had required this approach as a precaution as they aimed to prevent any technical mishaps or inconsistencies that could arise in such a vast and unpredictable environment. Sound quality in the stadium, with its massive audience and swirling noise, posed a serious risk to the clarity and power of a live rendition. Ricky Minor explained that without a reliable audio setup, Whitney Houston would have struggled to hear herself clearly. This was a crucial risk for a singer aiming to deliver a flawless performance, especially given the high stakes in the midst of the Gulf War. The NFL's protocol involved a so-called dead mic, which meant Whitney Houston performed passionately on stage while viewers heard the pre-recorded track carefully blended with the crowd's reactions and her unamplified vocals. This balanced approach ensured the anthem's rendition would be flawless, regardless of the weather conditions on D-Day. Since then, the NFL has made it standard practice for all Super Bowl national anthem performances to have a pre-recorded track ready, a protocol continued by artists such as Jennifer Hudson and beyond. This setup, far from diminishing the artist's talent, provides consistency and honors the moment's significance. Whitney Houston's rendition of the national anthem at the 1991 Super Bowl remains an iconic performance, capturing both the spirit of the American people and the artistry she embodied. While controversies around lip syncing have clouded similar performances, Houston's anthem transcends this debate, showcasing how a blend of talent, preparation, and technical precision can create a moment of collective emotion and pride. Her choice to perform live again at Welcome Home Heroes affirmed her dedication to authenticity and excellence, proving that her artistry was never compromised. Ultimately, her performance set a new standard for the anthem and left an indelible mark on American cultural history.